वादि पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगगन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंद सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्ण। By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, we are nicely progressing in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. We finished 10 verses, 10 slokas in this chapter, which has got 20 slokas, which is one of the smallest chapter. But Krishna is giving us so much knowledge. Each and every sloka in Bhagavad Gita is important. Everything what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is important for us. So that way, we need to understand this Bhagavad Gita fully, completely. Sometimes devotees ask the question, which chapter is good, which one I should read, which one I should study, like that. Or which yoga is good to follow. So like that the questions devotees ask. The entire Bhagavad Gita is important. We cannot really select that this one chapter is good chapter and you can read or study this chapter. Not like that. And we need to follow the entire Bhagavad Gita. What Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, completely we need to follow. There is nothing like there is only one separate process. There is Bhakti Yoga, so just do Bhakti Yoga, or there is Jnana Yoga, or Dhyana Yoga, or Karma Yoga. So these are all not different paths. They are all same path. So we need to follow. Except, of course, we need to follow, but Krishna himself is recommending that don't follow the sannyasa yoga, sannyasa path, Sankhya yoga. So that is difficult. And Krishna is also recommending that don't worship the impersonal Brahman. So that's also very difficult to achieve. It is possible. It is not that it is impossible, but it is very difficult. So that way, we need to follow the entire Bhagavad Gita as Krishna says. So these two things Krishna is not recommending, like following the sannyasa, Sankhya yoga, that is renouncing all our activities, giving up all our activities, not performing our duties, or worshipping Krishna in his impersonal feature, Aksharam Avyaktam. So these things are going to be very difficult. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkam aptum ayogata. So if you follow the path of sannyasa, that is renouncing the activities, so then we are going to meet with distress, dukkam aptum ayogata. क्लेशो अधिगतरगस्तेषां अव्यक्ता सक्त चेतसां अव्यक्ता हि गतिर् दुःखं देहवद्भिर् अवाप्यते. So if you also worship the unmanifested nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, so that path is very difficult and troublesome. Klesho adhigattarastesam avyakta sakta chetasam. We already studied in this 12th chapter. We already studied in the 5th sloka. So that way it is very difficult. So then what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to renounce all the activities only by mind, not physically. So that means we need to do all the activities and offer the results to Krishna. That's what is very important. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi. That's what we studied in the 5th chapter. Krishna taught us very clearly in the 13th sloka, in the 5th chapter. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi. Navadware pure dehi naiva kurvan nakari. So in the city of 9 gates, so there is this body. This body is the city of 9 gates. 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth, and then 1 anus and 1 genital. So totally makes 9 gates, our body, the city of 9 gates. So we need to give up all activities by mind. Mentally, we need to renounce. So that means physically we need to act, but mentally we should not be attached to the results. That's what is very important. So there's a difference between a devotee performing his work or a non-devotee, a materialistic person, a karmi doing his job. So physically both of them will be doing the same way. But mentally, mind-wise, so the devotee is attached to Krishna. So he is not at all thinking about the results, not at all thinking about the outcome of that work. So, because the devotee always thinks about Krishna only. So, sarvesu kalesu ma manusmarat. That's what Krishna said. He told Arjuna that sarvesu kalesu ma manusmarat yuddhyacha. So, you fight. So, all the time, by remembering me, you fight. That's what Krishna said. Why Krishna used that word sarvesu kalesu? All the time remembering me? Because if you remember me at the time of death, you will come to me. There is no doubt about it. Anta kalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati sa madbhavam asti yasti na atra samsega. So yati na atra samsega. So at the time of death, if anyone remembers me, anta kalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati sa madbhavam yati na atra samsaya. There is no doubt about this. You will come to me. So that's why tasmat sarvesu kalesu ma manusmarat yuddhyacha. Since you will come to me if you remember me at the time of death, so make sure you remember me all the time so that whenever you die, you come to me. You will come to me. Tasmat sarvesu kalesu ma manusmarat yuddhyacha. So we should not be even worrying about whether we are going to remember Krishna at the time of death or not. If we keep remembering Krishna all the time. That's why Krishna used the word same, tasmat sarvesu kalesu. Krishna also used the same line in the 5th chapter also, which we are going to study towards the end. Krishna used the word in the 8th chapter. In the 8th chapter, Krishna used the same word, tasmat sarvesu kalesu again. So already Krishna used in the 8th chapter in the beginning. So in this sloka number 7, so Krishna also used the word tasmat sarvesu kalesu again towards the end of the 8th chapter. So what Krishna is saying that naite sthiti partha jnanan yogi muhyati kaschana tasmat sarvesu kalesu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. That's what Krishna is saying. So in the 8th chapter, 7th sloka, Krishna is saying that tasmat sarvesu kalesu ma manusmarat yuddhyacha mayyarpita mano buddhi mame vesisya samse. So then in the same 8th chapter, towards the end, there is the sloka number 27, Krishna is using that. Naite sthiti partha jnanan yogi muhyati kaschana tasmat sarvesu kalesu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. So yogi is not bewildered at the time of death, because there are two, depending upon what time we die, whether we go to Krishna or we'll come back to this material world. So Sukla Krishna gati khete jagattaga sasvate mate ekaya yati anavritam anyaya vartate punaga. So Sukla Krishna gati gati, depending upon Sukla or Krishna, that is depending upon day or night. So depending upon the Uttarayana or Dakshinayana, day or night. So all such things we studied in the 8th chapter. So either we go to Krishna or we'll come back here again. But this is Krishna is talking only about yogis. But here Krishna is saying in the 8th chapter 27th sloka, Naite Sriti Partha Jnanam Yogi Mukhyati Kascham. A yogi, by knowing all these things, he is not bewildered. He is not really worried or concerned or bewildered whether we are going to remember Krishna at the time of death or not. Sometimes the devotees ask the question, what happened when a person is in coma, how he can remember Krishna, or when a person dies in an accident, how he can remember Krishna. All such questions the devotees ask. But if we are a devotee of Krishna, if we are focusing only on Krishna, we are serving only Krishna, let Krishna think about it, how we are going to remember him at the time of death and go there. That is, Krishna will take care of it. That is Krishna's responsibility. So that's why here Krishna is saying that in the 8th chapter 27th sloka, Naite Sriti Partha Jnana Yogi Mukhyati Kaschana Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Yoga Yukto Bhava Arjuna. So Yoga Yukta. See this word Yoga and Yukta, again Krishna is using together, Yoga Yukta. Like already in the 5th chapter, Krishna is using the 6th sloka. Sanyasastu Mahabhago Dukkamaptum Ayogataga Yoga Yukto Munir Brahma Nachirena Adhikachari. That's what Krishna said. That Yoga Yukta. Yoga is being equal to both success and failure, not disturbed by success and failure. That is Yoga. Yukta means by regulating our activities. So that's what is called Yoga Yukta. So here Krishna is saying that same thing. Yoga Yukta. Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Yoga Yukto Bhava Arjuna. So Yoga Yukto means you be engaged. You engaged in performing your activities without expecting the results, without getting affected by the results. So that's what Krishna is saying. Because if we do that, Yoga Yukto Visuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriyaga Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma Kurvannapi Nalipyate. So this Yoga Yukta is very important. So Yoga Yukta means performing devotion, in our terms, simple terms, engaged in devotional service. That's what is called Yoga Yukta. So in one place in the 8th chapter 7th sloka, Krishna is saying that Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Mamanasmarad Yuddhecha. Krishna is using the word Yuddhecha. In another place, Krishna is using the word Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Yoga Yukto Bhavartam. So Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Mamanasmarad Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Yoga Yukto. That's what we should do. That means all the time we should engage ourselves in devotional service. So that means we are remembering Krishna all the time. So if we do like that, then we will be able to renounce all the activities by mind. We will not be attached. Sarva karmani manasa sannyasyaste sukham vasi. Then we will be able to lead a happy life within this body of city of 9 gates, within this body. So this is science. So Krishna is teaching us the science. This is the science of Bhagavad Gita. How to achieve peace of mind. Everyone can follow these instructions and can enjoy the peace of mind and happiness. So if we are able to achieve that, then we need to prove, we need to accept it. That's what is very important. This is a proof. That's what in the science, in our modern science, physics, chemistry, or any subject when we do. So when you are able to see, when you are able to prove, when you are able to measure, you are accepting it. No one has seen the nucleus, but because the nucleus is in the center of the atom, so it is not letting the alpha particles to go through. So that's what the Goldfile experiment. So you understand that there is nucleus in the atom. So there is the proof. So like that, here, when we study this Bhagavad Gita, when we follow this Bhagavad Gita, when we perform devotional service to Krishna, when we remember Krishna all the time, so Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Mamanasmaradudyacha, Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna, so then we are going to achieve supreme peace of mind. Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasyaste Sukham Vasi Navadware Pure Degi Naiva Kurvanakar. So that way we will be able to actually feel, we will be able to experience ultimate happiness. Sukham Akshayam Ashnute. Just by following this Bhagavad Gita. That's what is going to happen. We will be able to free ourselves from the 3 modes of material nature. By Krishna's causeless mercy, we will be able to free ourselves. This bondage, this karma bandha, janma bandha. Because we are going to get what? We are going to get Krishna bandha. So when we get Krishna Bandha, when we are bonded to Krishna, that's what is very important. We should not be bonded to birth and activity and karma, birth and work in this material world. That is not good for us. We should get ourselves bound to Krishna, bonded to Krishna, Krishna Bandha. So that way, if you are karma bandha, what you are known as, what we call here, workaholic, karma bandha. So we have to become Krishnaholic. As I said a few days ago, we have to become Krishnaholic. So we have to develop Krishna bandha, Krishnaholic. So that's what is very important. So that's what is going to happen with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So we will be able to do everything for Krishna. That's why Krishna is saying that in the 6th and 7th sloka and the 12th chapter we studied, Yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaga ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate tesamagam samuddarta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat pata maya veshita chetasam. Those who are always engaged in my devotional service, etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaga ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasati. So those who are engaged all the time in remembering me, thinking about me and worshipping me, so I quickly deliver them from the ocean of material miseries. Samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat pata maya vesita chetasam. That's what Krishna is saying. So now in the next sloka we study upon me all the time. So mayeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim nivesayaka nivasisyasi mayeva atavudvam nasamsayam. So if you do that, you will come to me, there is no doubt about it. You focus your mind and intelligence upon it. But if you are not able to do that, atachittam samadhatum nasaknosi mayi stiram. If you are not able to fully focus your mind and intelligence on me, atachittam samadhatum nasaknosi mayi stiram abhyasa yogena tato mam ichchaptum dhananjaya. You practice doing that. Abhyasa yogena tato mam ichchaptum dhananjaya. In that way, develop a desire to come to me. That's what Krishna is saying. Then in the next chapter we studied, Krishna said in this sloka number 10, in the next sloka, in the sloka number 10, Abhyasepi asamartosi matkarma paramo bhava madattamapi karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. So if you are not able to practice remembering me all the time, so then engage in my service, devotional service, matkarma paramo bhava. So I mentioned that the very important, topmost, ultimate devotional service is actually spreading this message of God at Krishna, that we have to do it. So matkarma paramo bhavan madartam api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsasi. So just by performing all the work directly for me, directly working for me, engaged in my devotional service, you will get the perfection. Kurvan siddhim avapsasi. Then in the next sloka, what we are studying today, this sloka number 11, Krishna is saying that Ataitatapi asaktosi kartum madhyogamaashitaga sarvakarma palatyagam tathakuru yatatmavan. Ataitatapi asaktosi. So if you are unable to do, if you are not able to perform directly, if you are not able to engage directly in my service, in devotional service, kathum madhyogam ashitaga, madhyogam ashitaga. So we studied about so many yogam, karma yogam, jnana yogam, you can call it as karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, abhyasa yoga, bhakti yoga, buddhi yoga. So all these things, yoga. So karma yogam, jnana yogam, dhyana yogam, bhakti yogam, abhyasa yogam. Here Krishna is saying that madhyogam. Madhyoga means, again, this is what is bhakti yogam. Directly you are engaged in Krishna's service. Madhyogam ashita. So, ataitatapi asaktosi kartum madhyogam ashitaga sarva karma palatyagam tathakuru yatatmama. You give up all the results of your activities. Sarva karma palatyaga. So that means we should give up the attachment to the results of the activities. Sarva karma phala tyagam. Tata kuru yata atmavan. By doing that way, you try to be situated in yourself. Try to be self-situated. Yata atmavan. So, if however you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. So Krishna is saying that you be engaged in my service directly. If you are not able to do that, then give up all the results of the activities. That's what sarva karma palatyagam. So that's why in the 18th chapter, Krishna is saying that nahi dega brita sakyam tyaktum karmani asesataga yastu karma palatyagi satyagi ti abhidiyate. Having got this body, one cannot give up all the activities completely. So that's why we need to give up the attachment to the results. That's what is very important. So that way, whatever we do, we have to do it for Krishna. That's why Krishna is saying in the 9th chapter, we studied it. Yat karosi tat kuruso madarpanam. Yat karosi yat dasnasi yat jugosi tadasyat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kuruso madarpanam. So whatever we do, we should do it as an offering unto Krishna. So all such things are possible if we have this complete knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. If we keep ourselves very busy, if we keep ourselves very much engaged in spreading Krishna's message, so that way we will be able to get this knowledge completely and we will go to Krishna, there is no doubt about it. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we are able to study Bhagavad Gita every day. We are able to make continuous progress. This is all possible because we have faith on Krishna. We believe in Krishna. That's why we are able to achieve this Krishna's nectar. Because there is no other way we can know about Krishna. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataga. Tato mam tattvato jnatva visate tat ananta. So only I can be known by bhakti only, by devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataga. So that tattvata about me, so it is possible only by devotional service. So yavan yaschasmi tattvataga tato mam tattvato jnatva visate tad anantaram. So by knowing about me, so then one can enter into my nature. So we can go to Krishna's well. So that's what visate tad ananta. So we can go to Goloka. So we are knowing about it. We are understanding the knowledge. We are not, every day we are studying and knowing about Krishna, and we are devotees. There is no doubt about it. So bhakti, because bhaktyamam abhijanati. We all believe in Krishna. That's why we are studying this Bhagavad Gita. So we are all going to go to Goloka, Krishna's well. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished the 11th slokam in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. I'll stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.